Alrighty. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. What an absolute mess the airport was this weekend, guys. Wow. I'm sure you read about it. Insane. Yeah, the best mats are coming, guys. Trust me, they're on their way. They're coming through the ports. They have to get quality controlled. I'll stay updated with you guys on Instagram and in the Discord. Trust me, they're coming. I would not sit here every day on a live stream and take your money without giving you a product. Trust me, they're coming. I got one right here. They're real. Just a little bit of, they're just custom made, so it's a little bit of a process, but I will keep you as updated as I can. I'll get an update today for you guys and put it in the Discord chat. Yeah, what a mess. What a mess the airport was. I don't know if you guys read about it, but just the airlines couldn't catch up. There was a mess on Friday. They tried to catch up on Saturday. Canceled like every flight on Saturday. Canceled every Friday and Saturday. Sunday, it crept into Sunday where my flight got canceled. So I had to fly out yesterday. Just crazy. So the airlines, people were sleeping everywhere. Everyone was so pissed off. Craziness. So I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy to get that over with. So we are back here on the live stream. Welcome back, guys. Good morning. Tuesday, April 5th. Today's actually my sister's birthday, so shout out to my sister. Happy birthday. If anyone else's birthday today, happy birthday to you. How was New York? New York was good. Saw my family. It was a wedding, my cousin's wedding, a lot of fun. So that was a good time. The traveling was not fun. Seeing the family was fun. Traveling was not. So let's go ahead and get started today, guys. Let's go ahead and get a feel for what happened yesterday. Yesterday, really nice move on the overall market. We saw sort of that upside move almost all day, which was pretty impressive. Almost all day we held that move, held a lot of key levels, and sort of holding up this morning. So a nice move yesterday after a sort of slowdown into end of week, which was, I guess, something we could all expect, right? So we'll go ahead and look at it today. I'll give you guys the levels that I'm watching today. But a good move yesterday, holding some key levels from last week. Nice to see a little bit of upside, and we have that resistance still above. So we're still sort of in the middle of that top side resistance and the bottom side support. But it is good to see that we held up and didn't just give everything up from last week. So we'll look at it all. We'll get an idea of where we are on the NASDAQ, on the S&P 500, and then look at some individual stocks as we always do. So we'll get a better feel for what's going on here. Futures, economic and earnings calendar. Not much on the earnings calendar, but the economic calendar is pretty important this week, guys. Tomorrow we have FOMC minutes. So this is going to be pretty important. FOMC minutes right here. I haven't done enough research being away and everything about exactly what's going to be talked about here, but I'm sure it's going to be more about rates, inflation. That's probably going to be the main topics here, guys. So FOMC minutes tomorrow, guys. We'll see what they talked about in their last meeting with the minutes, the report. Jerome Powell will not be speaking, guys. This is just sort of I guess you could call it a press release. That's probably the best way I would explain it. Of what was talked about in the previous Fed meeting. So let's watch out for that. That's going to be pretty important. Today we do have some Fed presidents speaking. We'll see if that creates any volatility. But this one's the big one, right? Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Always want to be careful around these types of, when the FOMC minutes comes out. So always want to be careful of what positions you have on, what risk you have on your portfolio. This is always a time to be very cautious because there could be a lot of volatility around this time. So let's watch out for that. Thursday, 8:30, jobless claims as usual, and then not much on Friday. So let's watch out for Wednesday of this week. Then you can look further in core CPI into next week. So Wednesday's the big day here, right, guys? Wednesday. So let's beware. That's tomorrow. So let's go ahead and let's look at some individual stuff today as well. Tesla, big daily chart breakout on Tesla yesterday, guys. What a monster move. Congratulations to shareholders. Congratulations to anyone that played that with options. I'm just happy to be a shareholder and have been buying the dip on this thing in the 700s, in the 800s. Thanks to M1 for keeping me on that strict schedule, just automated buying every single week as stocks dip. You buy it. It really paid off here, guys. I can't say enough about it. Has really paid off for me and my long-term portfolio, buying during that panic only about 1 or 2 months ago. So Tesla daily chart break looks fantastic. Twitter, I want to show you guys some resistance on Twitter because I'm not too sold on Twitter just rocketing off this news. Yeah, there always is, punk. That's very true. As much as I want to hope that everyone pays attention to, these live streams and pays attention to what I talk about in the chat and everything else going on, there is always someone that says, what the hell just happened at 2 o'clock on an FOMC minutes or a Fed meeting? Everyone's like, or at least 1 or 2 people, what happened at 2 o'clock? What's going on? It's like, well, you probably should pay attention to the economic calendar. If you guys are a trader and you are not paying attention to the economic calendar, you are not doing your due diligence. So please make sure you are aware of what's on the economic calendar. Twitter. I'm not that sold on Twitter making a legit move here, guys. I know it's pretty awesome news. Going to be interesting to see what Elon does as the biggest shareholder of Twitter, but it's just a really tough stock. A lot of bag holders, a lot of supply above. I'm not too sold this stock just rockets, so I want to give you guys an idea of where the resistance is. Not a stock that I'm going to trade. It's just a really heavy stock. It takes a lot for Twitter to make a huge move. You can see even yesterday, it was very difficult to see any continuation. A lot of selling, I believe, into that move. Could be wrong, could be totally wrong. This thing could wake up and we could get a big move. But I want to show you guys resistance above. Looks a little bit tough. Netflix, very key level approaching on Netflix, guys. And Netflix is a stock that I am going to start dollar cost averaging in a little bit heavier. I increased my allocation. Increased my allocation in Netflix in my M1 Finance account. Increased the percent. I just sort of notched it up a little bit. I want to put a little bit more money into Netflix here, guys. It's sold off tremendously, and I don't think Netflix is going anywhere, to be honest. And I think this is a good time to start putting some money into it. I'll show you exactly why. I think there's good reasons to be bullish on Netflix into the future after a huge sell-off like we've seen on the last earnings. And I'm not going to go too aggressive here, but I do want to put a little bit more money into shares down at these levels. I want to show you guys a key breakout level. Apple, beautiful day on Apple, guys. Apple is just an absolute beast. We all know that here. I'm an irrational Apple bull. So if you come here, you're going to get a lot of bullish things about Apple, and rightfully so. It's just an incredibly strong stock. So Apple back above the retest level. I am holding an option contract on Apple, and I also have 100 shares of Apple myself. So let's see what Apple does. Really strong move yesterday. I want to show you guys some levels. Square still holding that 130 retest. We've talked about this 130 retest forever, almost like a month now, and it's still holding that level. As long as Square is above 130, I think there is more upside to be had. Microsoft, major resistance approaching, could be a breakout level. NVIDIA 270, been a big level on NVIDIA, pulled back to it yesterday and held, or pulled back to it last week and held. And then Facebook. This is another one that I'm not going to buy shares of because I don't like being invested in social media names just because of the ever-changing environment for social media. But this is something that I have been trading options on, trying to trade. I know you don't see the graph, William. Trust me. 240 per share, big level, 240 for Facebook. So let's go ahead and go over all that and get an idea of futures. Let's go ahead and start with the futures. All right, guys. So if we go to the daily chart, we can see that we are right back at that 100, and that is where we rejected off of last week, right? We had that 100 SMA that rejected us last week. We pushed up to it, found some resistance right here, right? We pushed up to it last week, rejected off of it, previous resistance, and 100 SMA. We got about a 3-day pullback, but the 3-day pullback was very small, right? This is a normal, pullback. Talked about this in my last video, how we did get a pullback, but it's nothing that I would be too concerned about. It's something that there's a little bit of a loss in momentum after hitting a pretty big brick wall, down 2.5% after an 18% move. That's something that's pretty normal, right? I think we can all agree that that is a normal little pullback and a very nice reaction yesterday after holding some key levels. So let's go ahead and first of all realize that we are back at the 100 today, and it could absolutely be resistance. Yeah, the 200's in here too, guys. I just don't usually have the 200 up. I do know where it is, at the time, but I'll go ahead and pull it up. Why not? So 200. Red. There we go. Right there. So, excuse me. There's the 200 and 100. Literally the exact same level today, right? So, let's see, guys. We're at a tough level. This is going to be, an interesting resistance level to get through. If we are able to get through this and make a higher high, I think that is a very bullish thing, guys. That would be a very bullish thing to see today. And even if we sort of reject today and sort of consolidate, I still don't think that's that bad of a thing, right? If we just sort of consolidate and hold up yesterday's lows. That is not a bad thing either. If we start to see some consolidation here, I think I would take that as a positive. As long as we're holding and we're not making lower lows and lower highs, then I think that is a positive to see some consolidation. So make sure you're aware. We have definitely some resistance above. If I go to the 30-minute chart, here is sort of what we're looking at on the 30-minute in the shorter term time frame. So we can see clear resistance above. This is the level that we rejected off of last week, 15,250, guys. Let's just put it at 15,250. Monster resistance. Gonna be very difficult to get through this 250 level. If we get through the 250 and we hold it as support, I think that is extremely bullish, right? If we get something like this, where we break through, we hold it as support, and we continue off of it, we all know that that is very bullish. We all should expect more upside. However, we are not there yet, right? We are not there yet. We are still sort of within this range. Now, what I did like that happened yesterday and last week, you guys can see we pulled back, but a very nice clean pullback over 3 days, right back to a previous resistance level. Right here, previous resistance, a little bit of structure in this area as well, and you can see we came right back down to it. We did have a little slip below, but that's just one of those market fakeouts. It seems like, in my opinion, you got that slip below that key level, still held up at end of day, and then sort of consolidated there and eventually pushed off of it. So to me, I think that's a pretty solid hold right there. If I zoom in here, you guys can see right there, previous resistance, previous structure, sort of resistance as well. And then we got back down to it, had a little bit of a fake out underneath. You can see a little bit of a weakness under it, but ended up holding it very well into this week, and we got that push off of it. So to me, if we are above 14.8 and 14.670, these two levels here, I believe anywhere in this zone is going to be a good area for support. Anywhere in this zone, either between 14,850 and this 14,670, I believe is a good area for the market to hold as support. Why do I say that? It's previous resistance, and here is previous resistance as well. You guys can see it's very clear here, right? A lot of structure points to sort of watch out for. You got resistance, and then turns into support right here. Resistance. So this whole zone, I believe, has a lot of buyers, has a lot of demand, and I think this zone will want to try to hold moving forward. If this zone gives up, all right, if we start to see something like this, if we start to see this, then we know what the next move is, right? We do not want to see that. That is very clear as to what would happen next. So there you go, guys. I mean, it's pretty structured. It's pretty easy to follow right now. It should not surprise you. This market should not surprise you right now because you have the very clear levels that are just apparent if you just look at these charts, right? Right back here, 14.8, 14.6. This area needs to hold. You saw you bounced off of it yesterday, and the upside resistance is for 15,250. So right now you're watching 15,250. And this downside zone, right there. That's really what you're watching, right in this little range. Very easy. If you break this, you know where we're going. If you break this, you know where we're going. So let's just see what happens. Let's see what today's continuation looks like. If it's weak, maybe we move back down to this zone. If it's strong, maybe we get back up to that 15,250. So very clean levels, very clean consolidation, and very easy to sort of get an idea of what this market wants to do next. So that's the NASDAQ, and here's the ES, which is actually even cleaner. Even cleaner on the ES, guys. And look at this. I mean, it really doesn't get much better than this. This is a classic break and retest. I talk about this just every single day of my life. I believe that this is the most powerful structure, type of trade in the market. It's pretty much supply and demand. But it's sort of, I just sort of coin it like the break and retest, because it's a break and retest is basically saying you're breaking previous resistance and you're turning it into support. Basically, previous supply is turning into demand. It's a very, very strong price action structure to watch, and you can see it right here. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. It is not, some made up make believe type of strategy or technical formation to look out for. I mean, why else did the S&P 500 hold up here on Friday? I mean, look how clean that was. You got a pullback last week over about 3 days. You pulled back right to previous structure. You held it absolutely perfectly. Previous resistance turns into support here, turns into support again, and look at what it did on Friday of last week, and look at where we bounced off of. So it couldn't be any easier here on the ES, guys. Really, if you know your levels, it really couldn't be any easier, because if this breaks, then you know where we're going. If this breaks and turns into resistance, you know that there is going to be downside. If we hold this level, my friends call me at this time, and it's clear that they do not know or care what I do for a living, right? Everyone knows I'm on a live stream at this time. Anyway, so 45.13, that's very clear, guys. Very clear. You cannot break that level. It's a break and retest level. It's a key structure level on the ES, and it's very easy to know what the next move is as long as we hold above that level. Now, the upside resistance is right around 46.30, right up here, guys. Right around this 46.30. So right now, like we are in the NASDAQ, we're sort of in that range. Do we see the continuation up to the top side of the range, or do we see the dip down to the bottom side? And as I always say, right, when you're in a range, it's a more difficult area to be trading. That's why I think it's very difficult to trade within ranges. So you can see we can either get this push up to here, 46.30, or we can get the retest of 45.13. So right here, we're sort of in that range. Got your upside resistance, downside support. Very easy to sort of structure your idea of where this market could go. Just make sure to keep an eye on these levels today, guys. That's what I would say. But a very nice retest and a very nice push off yesterday. Make sure you have those levels up. All right, here's the Dow. So the Dow, very nice here as well. You can see another pretty decent retest after a pullback last week. You guys can see right here. Let me go ahead and get this cleaned up a little bit. Right here, guys, resistance, resistance, resistance. Breakout, turn it into support, right? How clean is that? I know it's a little choppy here. I know there's a lot of volatility candles, which is, something that you sort of got to average out, right, guys? When you see a big volatility around the key level, you got to just think about it like an average. You got to sort of average out the volatility as best as you can. But you can clearly see right in this area, rejection, rejection, rejection. We broke out right here. We pulled back to it, and you held it as support. So moving forward, I think you just want to see the Dow sort of hold this general area around 34,007, and then you have that upside resistance right here around 35,200. So the same exact range here on all three indices, right? You got your upside resistance and you got your retest level support. You probably want to see the S or the Dow hold around this area. I know it's a little bit of a range. It's not going to be perfect here, but it's right around this 34,007 that you want to see us turn into support here, right in this general area. So watch out for the Dow here around 34.7. That's going to be a key level hold. All right, Russell's interesting, isn't it? Look at how it's sort of just holding right under this 2100. You guys can see it pretty clear, right? 2100 keeps on rejecting. You guys know this is a monster level from the past. So if we go to the daily chart, you guys all know this is a monster level to get back above on the Russell. Big time previous resistance. Does it get back above? The last time we got back above, we quickly rejected. Look how quickly we rejected. Last time we pushed above 21, we quickly got beat down under it again. So on the Russell, I would just look to see, can we break 21 and can we start to hold it? That's really what I want to see. Can we start to turn 21 into support? That would be my goal, to see 2100 into support on the Russell. All right, so that's the futures, guys. Let me quickly go back to the NASDAQ just to give you one more view here. I think this is the most important. 15,250 on the upside, and then around this 14.8 to 14.7 area on the downside. Sort of got that range here as demand, and then you have your upside resistance. So you're sort of in this channel right now. What do we get today? Do we see a retest, or do we see that breakout? So that's what I would be aware of, right? That's what I would be aware of. All right, guys, so that's the futures. Let's go ahead and get started on some individual names. Tesla. What an awesome daily chart breakout yesterday on Tesla, guys. Really, really clean. Crazy to see that this stock is up in the 1100s. What an incredible move. It doesn't look like, I'm going to delete this gap fill because it does not look like that gap fill is coming anytime soon. So this could be one of those gap fills that don't fill until maybe 2 to 3 months later, right? You guys can see right here, this was a gap on the daily chart in Tesla that did not fill until December, which was about 2.5 months later. So maybe that's the same thing. I don't see us getting that gap fill anytime soon, unless this market just absolutely tanks. The gap fill, I think, irrelevant at this point. Huge daily chart breakout. You guys can see previous resistance, previous resistance, previous resistance. And what did we do there? What did we do yesterday? We had a very clean, just hot knife right through the butter. You can see right there, boom, right through the resistance, clean through on the daily chart. I'm a little too bullish. Okay. I'm just reading what's on the charts, my man. Charts are bullish. Charts are bullish. And you got to read what's on the charts. So you guys can see right here, 1120, big clean breakthrough on Tesla. You can see resistance, 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 boom, right through. Very nice. Congratulations to anyone that caught that yesterday. That was a very, very clean move. Now, on the hourly chart, you can see how clean this was even on the hourly. You can see how we topped out right there at previous resistance, sort of consolidated, sort of flagged here on the hourly chart. And look at that flag breakout yesterday. So really clean move. A lot of reasons to see, a lot of reasons why there was so much strength, because it was a major daily chart breakout level and a very nice little hourly bull flag there as to why you got that continuation. Now, low volume, pretty decent volume actually. You can see right there, pretty decent volume. Guys, I wouldn't try to hypothesize as to why everything is fake in this market, right? This is a clear, strong move on Tesla. There's no reason to hypothesize as to why this is fake. You can try to play the downside if it shows it. Just let it show the weakness, right? Let it show its weakness. If it shows weakness, play it to the downside. It's very easy. There's no reason to sit here and hypothesize as to why everything is fake. It's crazy why people think like that. This is nothing but bullish. If you don't agree that this breakthrough is bullish, you're just dead wrong, because it's resistance, 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 and a absolutely perfect breakthrough on the daily chart. A daily chart breakout, guys, is no joke. This is not a 1 minute breakout. This is a daily chart breakout. It's a clean move, I have to say. If it was weak, I would tell you it's weak. If it looked bad, I would tell you it's bad. Trust me. But to me, this is very bullish. It's a very clean break right through resistance. So you can hypothesize all day as to why this is weak. Good luck. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you what's on the charts. So now, this morning, I want to give you guys some insight into this morning, into what I would be watching this morning. If you're looking to trade Tesla today, either to the upside or the downside, this is what I would be looking for. It is right here, guys. It is right at this 1135 level, 1136 level this morning. This is exactly where Tesla is trying to hold. This is a key level today at open. So why do I say that? You guys can see right here, resistance turned into support intraday, and this was a perfect retest level that some of you guys in the Discord chat traded yesterday. Guys, look how perfect this intraday retest was yesterday on Tesla. Previous resistance broke out and turned into support. Look how perfect that little flag pattern. That is so nice. This is so nice, guys. If you look at this breakout, bull flag into a retest, that is one of the most beautiful formations you could trade right there on the market, guys. Right there. You can witness it right here live. This flag into a previous rejection that is turning into support. I hope everyone realizes how perfect of a setup that is. That is a beautiful break and retest intraday on the 1 minute chart, and look at the reaction out of that flag. Beautiful stuff. Now, 1136, that's that level, right? That's the level we're looking at here on the screen. Now, where else did that level become important? Right here, guys, towards close. Look at where that 1136 came into importance once again. We pulled back and we held that exact same level. Now, what level are we holding this morning? The exact same level. So guys, it is very clear as to what level you should be watching on Tesla today. 1136, right in this area. It is clearly previous resistance turning into support, turning into support, turning into support. So if you hold this level, there might be some upside, right? If you hold this level, if you start to break below it and you turn it into resistance, then I would look to strike to the downside on maybe some short-term downside. If you are wanting to play Tesla to the downside today, you might have some rejection under this 1136. If you get a little bit of a break and retest here and you start to push lower, that might be a very nice little play right there, because that is a previous support that is turning into resistance. Now, you have to watch out for these lows here as well, right? Right around 1127, because you have support there as well. So I think the margin to the downside is a little bit tough. You know, there's definitely potential downside to be had, but you got to watch out for these key levels, right? So my prediction today, I don't like to predict what happens, guys. I don't think it's worth it. It's just a waste of time. But what I would say is if you hold this 1136 and you find some support, guys, I would look for a little bit of a washout long opportunity this morning. That's sort of what I would be looking for. Washout long trade. Washout early morning down to key level, start to hold it as support, and then long it off support. That's sort of the trade that I like to see on Tesla. So that's Tesla. You guys, you know, I would be bullish there. That's just all over the place looks bullish to me. Wow, Twitter's really pushing right now, isn't it? What's going on Twitter? So I could be dead wrong about Twitter, guys, but I'm still very cautious. I don't like Twitter as a stock. It's basically made shareholders zero money since its IPO. If you go to the 20-year chart, Twitter is below its IPO levels. So you can see this is Twitter's chart for the lifetime of its stock. It's basically done nothing, right? It's basically done nothing. So is this the time where you start to see maybe a little bit of upside on Twitter? Is it time that the bag holders start to make some money? Maybe. You guys can see we have a huge daily chart gap that was created off this news. And we're sitting at this resistance. So I'm a little bit cautious of this resistance here, guys. Right up in this area. You guys can see right around this 50, 52. But you can see right now we're up to around 52 in the pre-market. We're trying to get that push through. So, you know, does this push through? Maybe we get through here. It's very possible. But I'm just a little bit cautious of this area because it looks a little bit tough to me. So if we get right through all this 50s and we get really through this resistance, guys, I know. Trust me. I know why Twitter's moving up. So you can see support, and then you sort of rejected here previously. Do we reject here again? Or is this actually a breakout above this 50 area? I'm not ready to tell you what I think. I'm just here to tell you that you should be a little bit careful around these 50s. This 50 area just does not look too safe. That's really what I would say. It's not a safe area to be playing. It's a very questionable area. It's sort of like a gamble here. Which way does this go? Because this is a previous support that I think could reject. So just be a little bit cautious here on Twitter, guys. I know it's the hot new thing, but just be cautious because I'm not sure how long that sort of pumps off the Elon news. There's going to be a day where it sort of pulls back. But if the trade's there, go ahead for it. If it's an easy trade, then yeah. But just be aware of that 50 area. All right, Netflix. I really like this chart on Netflix. I know it's not a good-looking stock. I know it's been a crappy name. But remember what I talked about on Square, guys? A falling knife into consolidation. it's never bad to see a falling knife turn into consolidation. So yeah, I think it's sort of starting to consolidate, to be honest, on Netflix. I think this is starting to become a little bit of a consolidation. People are starting to, buy into this name, I believe, in this area. I think anywhere between, either 400 and around 350 could end up being a pretty nice area to start buying some shares. I really do believe that. Anywhere between 400 and 350 seems to me as there is a good area to start maybe accumulating some shares, right? So I'm going to start doing that. I'm just letting you guys know I'm going to start buying some shares of Netflix down here in the 350s, 380s, under 400, because I could see the opportunity for Netflix to sort of hold up here longer term and maybe try to creep its way back higher. So watching 400, you guys can clearly see that this is a very strong level of 400. It looks very difficult to get over. I'm not that worried about it with shares. I'd be more worried about it with option contracts. So you can see right here, rejections, 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 all at this 400, guys. A very, very tough level in this 400. If I was to trade options, I would wait for the 400 break, and then I would see maybe some hold, maybe push into this 460 area, right? I think you can probably push back into this previous high if you do get a breakout. Why not options? Because I'm just wanting to buy shares because I think long term. So you guys can see 460 would be the next push level, I believe. I think if you can get over 400, you could see 460. But you got to get over this 400 first. Basically, what I wanted to show you guys today is that you are starting to consolidate. You're turning a falling knife into a consolidation area. And I am going to start trying to accumulate just a little bit of shares down here to see if I can try to catch Netflix off a pretty big downside move, right? This is Netflix, which is down, at its peak, was down 53%. So that's Netflix. I just wanted to show you guys that level. I think a very interesting level. Apple, killer move yesterday, guys. Killer move on Apple. You can see a little 3-day pullback. Held this previous low very nicely, right in this area. I'll go ahead and zoom in to show you that a little bit cleaner. But we held this previous low very, very nicely, right in this 171 area. So you can see a little 3-day pullback, retested that level, and bounced right off of it. If I go into the 4-hour chart, you are going to see it even cleaner. So here we go. You guys see this previous support here, right? You see this previous support that turned into a rejection area? Look at what it did here. Support and support. Look how clean that is. So if I zoom in just to this level, look at this little double bottom that happened on Apple. Bottom support, pull back, you double bottom, and you push off of it again. Now, very clear, right? You need to break this 179 area. You got to break that 179. If I go to the 30-minute chart, you're going to see it right here. Look at Apple. Look at that bounce. Look at that bounce. The exact same level. This was previous resistance into support. This is a break and retest. Previous resistance breaks out, turns into support. You hold it again. You continue to hold the retest level of 171, and you try to play it on the upside. This is very clean. If you get this break, what do you want to see? You want to see now this turn into support, right? You want to turn previous resistance into support on the upside. So I would be looking at Apple over 179. If you get that break over 179, I would look for a hold. But Apple, love that retest hold, love that 172 hold. Big day for Apple. Would like to see get over 179 today, guys. Square. I know this is a little bit of a questionable name, but I have to say, guys, this is a really good looking chart here off 130. Look at this chart off 130. This is sort of like Netflix, where I was just saying this is like Netflix turning a previous and falling knife into consolidation. This is sort of what I want to see happen on Netflix. Very similar chart. Falling knife, consolidation. I want to start to see this creep higher. Now, what do I absolutely love about Square right now? What do I absolutely love about this technical formation? Square is perfectly holding this 130 level. Look how clean this is. Previous resistance turns into some gorgeous support here at 130, guys. It is very clear to see. If I go to the 4-hour chart, look at how this previous resistance is holding as support. Look at that. Rejection. Look how many times we've held 130. So if you are in square, right? All you have to know if you're trading square is a break under 130 kills the move. As long as we're above 130, I'm bullish on this name. It's very easy, right? Don't complicate things. As long as square is above 130, then I would be bullish on it because it is a previous resistance holding as support. That is a very nice floor to play square off of. Very nice floor. And if it breaks through, you know, let's say you get in and it breaks through, you take your loss. Very easy. So watch out for square here, guys. I like this 130 hold. I think you have room up to this 153. If I go back to the daily chart, I think you have room up to this 150 area. Right in this area. 150. 100 SMAs there. Could be at some resistance, but I think 150 is possible if we continue to hold this 130 retest. Very nice formation. Seriously. I mean, it's just very clean. All right, Microsoft. Very clean rejection approaching on Microsoft as well. So, if I zoom in, you are going to see where is the rejection point on Microsoft. I'll delete this and try to show you why I think it's there. You guys can see right here, right? Previous support, turned into rejection, turned into a rejection point. So, where does Microsoft need to get through? I'm thinking it's right around this 318 to 320 range. It's a little bit of a range for me. But anywhere in this area, I think is going to be difficult for Microsoft to get through. But I want to make sure I'm aware of Microsoft if it does get that break. Because if it does, there could be some nice little movement in this channel up here between 320 and 340. So watch out for Microsoft here, guys. I just wanted to share with you a little double bottom support from back in November, December of last year. And you are approaching that level right now. So right here, guys, you can see we are approaching that level. So it could be in either a pretty nasty rejection, right? You're seeing the rejection start to come in. It's either going to be a little nasty rejection or we're going to see that push higher. Yeah, a lot of these charts look alike. Totally agree, Lewis. A lot of charts look very similar. The good charts, they all look very similar. The good charts, not the crappy names. See, NVIDIA almost looks identical to Microsoft. Look at this. Very similar to Microsoft as well. You guys can see we got our push. Where did we reject? We rejected the November and December lows. So we rejected those previous lows right on Microsoft. See November, December. See these lows on Microsoft. And look at NVIDIA. Look at where we rejected. Right here, which were November and December lows. So very clear, very consistent on these tech names. Now, what is NVIDIA doing after a little bit of a 3-4 day pullback? We're holding this 270 retest level. So let me show you that now. I will say in general, guys, just to quickly go over chip stocks in general, they have been very weak lately, and I'm not loving it. It's a little bit cautious. I'm being a little bit cautious here on chip names because they have not really followed the general strength on some other tech names. So just be cautious of the chips. You've seen, I think supply chain is affecting. I think the supply chain is affecting the chip names pretty heavily, and it's not really. They're not really moving as much as I'd like, but. You guys can see right in this 270, 267 area, it's sort of a range. Previous resistance has turned into support. So what do we need to see when previous resistance turns into support? What is the key there, guys, right? It's having that previous resistance hold as support, and you can see it did that exact same thing yesterday. Resistance. You come back down to it, and you bounce off of it. So that, in my opinion, is slightly bullish. I'm a little bit cautious because NVIDIA has been a pretty weak level, a pretty weak stock. So I'm not that confident on this hold. It's something that I'm going to be monitoring for a little bit longer. But I do like it. 270, 267, this whole previous resistance area turned into some previous or perfect support yesterday. It's very clear, right? Resistance, support. So let's see. Can we get a push? This 290 area, it's still, though, is going to be... that 290 area is nasty. That I don't see us getting through very easily. So watch out for that 290 above. Look to see if you can hold this 267 retest today. Facebook. Unfortunately, I did get out of Facebook last week. I needed to take some stuff off the table. I had a lot of swing trades, had to take some off. Got out of Facebook for, I think, a small profit. Maybe it was break even. Let me see. Yeah, break even. So it's a small profit. Made 7 cents a contract on 5. It made $35. So pretty much break even on Facebook after it pulled back here on me last week. Got out of it because I just had too much risk going into the weekend, and I like to protect my portfolio. Whether that means I miss out on moves or whether that means I hold, I'm always going to protect my portfolio, no matter what that means in hindsight. It doesn't matter to me. At the time, I had to take risk off, too much risk on the table, and I don't like to do that into a weekend. So you guys can see big pullback last week. Not big, but a decent pullback last week. And look at this beautiful little breakout yesterday, guys. And look at how clean this Facebook chart has been. We broke this chart. We broke this trend line. Remember we talked about Facebook trend line every single day last week? We broke the trend line, and I just went ahead and took my small profit. But look at what happened yesterday. Beautiful push. Hold on, guys. My damn washer is going crazy. You know when a washer is off beat? It's like, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, it's going on right now. So you guys can see upside, nice channel, nice trend, broke it, took my small profit because I just said, hey, let's go ahead and take some risk off. And then you can see yesterday, big push through previous highs last week. And look at that beautiful push. So today, I would be looking to see if Facebook can hold last week's highs as support. That is what you want to see now. You want to see last week's highs of 231 hold as support. If you get a pullback to 231 today, guys, I would look to play that to the upside. If you get this pullback and you start to hold here, I would look to play that to the upside. Right there. Yeah, my washer's full of cash, Tesla. That's why. It's full of cash, guys. Here's the Discord. Oh, that's good. Thank you for that, Tesla. All right. So, Facebook, I think if you get a pullback to this 231, I would look for that retest hold. I would look for upside right off this 231. All right, guys, that is what I had for you today. Now, if you guys are a member of the live stream, if you want to, you can press the join button down below. If you are not a member, if you are, you guys get access to the Google Docs where we put in our own tickers. So we're gonna go over. We just went over NVIDIA, Facebook. We went over Square. So hopefully you guys were paying attention. I'm not gonna redo those. Twitter we went over. So we got 2. If you guys put any of those names there and want me to just look at something, let me know. But, we just sort of went over them. So, let's go over DILD. DILD is not a ticker. All right, great. Someone put a stock that is not a ticker in the Google Docs. Fantastic. Well, you guys can edit that if you'd like, because it's not a ticker. All right, Home Depot. That's the next one. Home Depot, it's been weak, man. Home Depot has been a weak little name lately. You hate to see it. I'm a big Home Depot bull. Own a lot of shares, which, I'm not too concerned about shares, but it's an interesting sort of consolidation, I guess weakness you could say over the last few weeks. Let me zoom in here. What is DILD? Is that a joke? Oh, maybe they meant GILD. I don't know. All right, so you guys can see support here at 300 on Home Depot, bruh. Next ticker, and then look at this 300 hold on Home Depot again. Right, look. So is 300 the level to take some shares off or buy some shares of Home Depot? Yeah, potentially. Look at this 300 level. If you were to buy Home Depot here, I would put a stop under 300. Pretty easy, right? Just put a stop under 300, right? You put a little stop under 300, and you play this potential upside. So I think that's pretty decent. 300 on a pullback, 300 pullback, $300 a share. Put a stop under 300, and you have some pretty nice risk to reward, don't you? This is some pretty decent risk to reward, isn't it? Look, you got risk down to here, and you have reward basically up to here. That's pretty good risk to reward right there. So yeah, not a bad area on Home Depot around that 300. All right, we got AMD in the chat or in the Google Docs. Yeah, AMD's been a little bit of a weak dog lately. Same with the chip stocks, right? Just not been too strong on these chip names. I think AMD's just stuck in this range between 124 and 100. It's been a tough stock to get going. So unfortunately, AMD pretty weak, guys. In this channel, hasn't really done much. I like to hold at 100, but it's having a lot of trouble to get higher. So just be careful here. You got to realize the weakness in AMD lately. It's definitely been weak after the downgrade. It got downgraded. After that downgrade, it hasn't been trading the same. All right, Walgreens. Walgreens, buy it if you want a dividend, guys. That's all I can tell you. If you want a dividend, buy Walgreens. If you don't touch it. PayPal. I got one more and then I'm out of here, guys. PayPal. So, PayPal, I actually quite like what's going on. It's very similar to Square, right? Falling knife into consolidation, right? Falling knife into consolidation, and look at what PayPal's doing, very similar to Square. You can see right here. Previous rejection, you held it as support, sort of like Square. Look how similar. Square, right? Let's hold it as support, previous resistance. PayPal, you can see turning that previous resistance into support. I think there could be upside. If you break over this high of around 123, I think there's upside here, up to around 140. So, yeah, PayPal, doing the same thing as Square. I love it. Want to end with Walmart because we had a member take puts here, and I think it's a great idea. If you like to trade this channel, Sierra, talking about you. You guys know Walmart's been in this channel, right? Remember we took that swing trade down here. Did not take this full meat of the move, but very nice entry on the call side here. I would say there's a decent risk to reward on the downside here, guys. I'm just calling it out as I see the chart, right? If you trust the chart, then I would say here is not a bad opportunity to take some puts. Just, an idea. If you want to trade with the channel, put your stops above these highs. You have a pretty decent risk to reward. There's your risk. There's your reward. Very clean. So, guys, if you guys think that I don't know about Elon and Twitter, I should not be here right now if I did not know about that. Trust me, guys. I read everything you could possibly see. So, yes. Trust me. I'm very aware of Elon and Twitter. Yes. All right. So, very nice, guys. 152. Rejection. Walmart could potentially play some downside there, right? Could potentially pay some downside there at 152. So, we'll see. We'll see if that happens. All right, guys. That's all I got for you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for always supporting the live streams. If you guys could just take 1 second and press the like button before you head out, that would be fantastic. If you could support the channel by just pressing that like button, it's very easy. Get out of the chat. If you're in the chat, exit out of the chat, press the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for being here. I don't get annoyed on the inside, guys. I mess around. I'm not gonna sugarcoat everything. So thank you guys so much. What else? Live stream is on tomorrow. I'll be here tomorrow morning. Thursday and Friday, I'll let you know. I might have to travel again Thursday and Friday. I know, I'm very sorry, guys. It feels weird being away. But, some days I have to do what I have to do. And it's, that's life, man. Some days you got to take some days off. And I've had to, definitely take a few days off. I guess yesterday. Yesterday really only. But Thursday and Friday, I'll keep you guys updated. Thanks for being here. Press the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.